Hello and welcome to Go Visit Castles. This week's historic property is in the stunning Forest of Dean, and we're not just here for a flying visit either. We're going to be staying for the night.
This castle has got a great history, but most of it is not all that pleasant. It's also renowned for being one of the most haunted properties in Britain. Welcome to St Briavels Castle.
The castle at St Briavels was built in the 12th century and was the Crown's admin and judicial centre for the Forest of Dean, as well as an arsenal for locally produced weaponry. Its royal visitors included King John, who favoured the castle as a hunting lodge. The castle remained in use as a prison and courthouse long after it had lost its military functions.
Look at this gatehouse, Joe. It's an absolute stunner.
I thought you'd like it.
I can't wait to get inside this one. What a gatehouse this is, Joe. Built by probably our favourite king of all time, King Edward I. Defensive overkill. It's got not one, but 3 gates and 3 portcullises.
It has. Harlech and Beaumaris, built for 3, only ever housed 2 portcullis. This castle, 3 portcullis.
That's also probably because what's been stored inside this castle is very important.
And worth protecting. Let's go and explore.
We were up on the roof.
No, come and have a look at this.
Whoa. So one of the beauties of doing Go Visit Castles is we get to show you places you wouldn't normally get to see. And this is the roof of St Briavels Castle. We've been allowed up here just to show you a bit what it's like right above the gatehouse. Check that out, Joe.
That's magnificent.
It's huge, isn't it? You get the best angle of, you know, the whole gatehouse.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Whoa. So we're in St Briavels Castle's debtors' prison. This is, I guess, where people were locked up, hence all the graffiti all over the walls. Yeah. So what sort of crime will you have to have committed to be locked up in here?
You were given a fine or you owed a debt. And it was often by sort of Victorian times what they considered a trivial amount of money, so something like £5.
Uh-huh.
But then you would be given, say, a £7 penalty for that in the first place. And then if you wanted to have a bed here, your family friends would have to pay the constable £1 a week as well. They would keep you there indefinitely, and that was to encourage you to pay your debt.
But how on earth are you going to pay off your debt when, realistically, you're never going to leave this place, are you?
No. The only person that's kind of benefiting is the constable, and he's getting paid his wages for his job, and then he's kind of got this side hustle of £1 a week coming in as well.
And for what I've heard, the debtors' prison here at St Briavels was probably one of the worst in the country, right?
Yeah, it was definitely overcrowded as well. And you can see a lot of the graffiti. So most of it from the kind of 1600s.
Yeah.
It was in use until
1617, 1677 there.
Until the mid-19th century, it was still in use as a debtors' prison.
And there's a lot of it, isn't there?
Yeah.
pretty cool feature that I've noticed inside the debtors' prison. These lumps and bumps on the windowsill here, for want of a better word, are where the shackles used to be attached to and driven into the stone. And this is where the prisoners inside the debtors' prison would have been shackled to. Pretty nasty way to be imprisoned. A YHA youth hostel, which is a castle. How good is this?
It's incredible, isn't it? Let's
Up
go
these
find our
stairs,
room.
this is the way to our room for the night. I've got something really interesting to show you, Jo.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Look at this.
This is our room for the night.
It's amazing.
This is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So our room for this evening has two very interesting features.
Tell me.
An interesting feature, number one, is that bed.
Right, why is
That
that
bed
special?
It's St Briavels Castle's infamous scary bed. So countless people that have stayed and slept in that bed have experienced their covers being torn off them continuously all through the night. True story.
Really? And interesting thing number two.
Interesting feature number two is right here.
This awesome rug.
No, it's what's underneath the rug,
Oh, okay.
which is quite exciting.
Ooh, trapdoor.
We have a trapdoor, but beneath the trapdoor we have St Briavels Castle's oubliette.
In our room.
That is cool, isn't it?
That's amazing.
So in our room for this evening we have a scary bed and the castle's oubliette.
Okay, yeah, you were right.
I like it. Well, this is my bed for the night.
I've got ghost bed then, yeah?
Oh yeah, you can have that, Mrs Skeptic.
Thank you. Amy's all right. The castle at St Briavels was fully restored in the mid-20th century and now operates as a YHA. The Forest of Dean was a royal forest, and this meant it was protected by forest law, and only the king could remove anything from the forest. Now, there was money to be made in forest law because licenses could be granted for the right to shoot game, for the right to fell trees for firewood, and this generated a good income for both the king and the castle.
The Forest of Dean in medieval times was very important for its iron industry. Weapons, and most importantly crossbow bolts and arrowheads, were manufactured here at St Briavels. It was so important that King Edward I built the twin tower gatehouse and strengthened the whole castle to protect the vast amounts of weaponry and arrowheads being stockpiled and manufactured here for the conquest of Wales. St Briavels Castle has had so many ghost sightings over the years, and some of them happening on a regular basis, like the sound of phantom horses galloping through the gatehouse corridor. And visitors to the castle being let in through the main gate, on turning around, finding that the person that's just let them in has totally disappeared. A lot of very strange things are happening at St Briavels Castle. We have had such a fantastic overnight stay at St Briavels Castle, haven't we, Jo?
Yeah, it's been amazing. The staff here have been so friendly and accommodating. My first ever stay at a YHA, so I wasn't too sure what to expect, but it's definitely exceeded expectations.
And a YHA, which is also a castle. And on your stay here, there are also a ton of activities which you can participate in, like archery, canoeing, fencing.
Medieval banquets, which I think they have at the weekend, and they have fancy dress outfits, not just for children, for adults as well, if you want to join in with the feast.
And the castle itself, it's stunning. And the surrounding area, lots of places to explore, and a very, very good pub next door.
If you fancy something a bit different, St Briavels is definitely the place to come and stay.
We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.